Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Love Your Body podcast. I'm here with Miss Harley Bell. I'm so excited to have you on today, girl. So, guys, for those of you who don't know, Harley is a recovering binge eater, also binge drinker. She is a certified personal trainer through ACSM. She basically has this mission. Your business is be confident, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And it's the mission is to help people grow into their best, most confident self from the inside out. Kind of like to break the stereotype of what healthy and fit look like. So, we're on the same page here. So I have always wanted to sit down and talk with you. It just never has lined up. And, you live here in Murfreesboro, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's like we're always passing through, passing by. I'm either coming, you're going, whatever. So I'm so happy to have you on today.
Well, thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, we got our fight slushes from Sonic. For those of you who haven't tried it yet, go to Sonic, drink a little bit of their ice water, throw some fight in there. I promise you will not be disappointed. Like,
It's really good. It literally tastes like the Powerade slushes
that's
from
what I'm
Sonic.
saying. I have been saying this. Like, I used to go there in high school, and like, seriously, guys, the Powerade slush, you think you're doing good. You're like, I just worked out, and like, whatever. But it's got a lot of sugar, a lot of nonsense in there. This is like all vitamins, magnesium, just a little bit of caffeine, like gets you ready for your day. Trent's getting it going too. So it's like a whole vibe.
I got it all going on here.
Yeah. And then I'm realizing from which Sonic where I go everywhere, like Mount Juliet, the Borough, everywhere in Nashville. And literally they all charge different for the ice water.
Really?
And I'm like, can you not? Yeah. Mount Juliet was super expensive yesterday. And I was like, okay, MJ, like back up, but whatever.
If you have the app, it's always 50% off any drinks.
I did not know that.
Yep. Anytime during the day, not just 2 to 4.
I'm not going to lie to you. I did not go to Sonic since I was like a never, because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Since I was in high school, when I was very unhealthy, because I would always go there and just have all this like stuff. And, and so it was just one of those things where I just kind of like got rid of going to fast food places and things.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe I really remember I like their like water and their ice. And so one day I was just rushing somewhere and I put pie in there. I was like, this is going to be a staple. Yeah. But yeah. So are you from Murfreesboro originally?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
cool. Where did you go to high school?
Siegel.
Okay. Yeah. I went to Blackman. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you went to high school here. Oh.
Yep. So I'm from here. So I went to Blackman Middle and then Blackman High School. Went to a private Christian school growing up before that. And so, and you're 25?
28.
28. Oh, you're my age.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So then we graduated.
Yeah. The same class.
That's
I didn't
so
really
funny.
know a whole lot of people from Blackman. Like I didn't hang out with a whole lot. It was more Riverdale and Siegel.
Yes. Yeah. Because y'all are like over there. So the Oakland was like on its own. And Blackman, there's pretty much 4, for those of you who don't know that aren't local, there's like 4 major high schools. And so for me with Blackman, because I knew people from all the different schools because of dance, because I'm a competitive dancer. So you didn't have to be, I had the school dance team, which obviously is Blackman. And then I had people from Siegel, friends from Oakland, friends from Riverdale. So that kind of got me in those people. But like, I didn't know anybody that played like other sports over there or anything like that. Did you do stuff in high school?
I did not do any sports.
Okay. Okay.
I did the last time I did sports like growing up was probably, and it wasn't even, well, I guess it is a sport, but karate.
Yeah. Okay.
I did karate like when I was like 12, 13.
Okay. Awesome.
That was the last sport I did.
I love that. I love that. So tell the listeners a little bit about your background. I know that, I said in the intro, like the binge eating, binge drinking, which I know a lot of them can relate to, but, kind of was that from, high school? Was that college? Were you kind of unhealthy as you were growing up, or what kind of was that like?
Yeah, it all started like childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was overweight from as far back as I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
And it started coming on, like I was a smaller kid. I look at kid pictures,
Right.
like 3 or 4, and I'm like, I was so small then. What happened?
Yeah.
But then I started like growing up, and I feel like food, it was really an escape for me.
Yeah.
And I would overeat
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I would. So how I would put it is, my mom really, really tried to keep me from, being that overweight kid, because she saw it coming on at a young age.
Yeah.
And she thought it was just like puppy fat. Like, she's going to lose it.
Yeah.
So I felt like she did everything in her power to keep me and my sister both from continuing to lose weight. So from what she knew, I felt like it was a very restrictive approach.
Okay.
Like, hey, I'm hungry. And it's like, no, you just had lunch. You're not hungry.
Right.
So what it caused me to do would be to like go and get food behind
Yes.
her back.
Yeah, and hide,
And
yeah.
yes, I would hide and eat. Like my dad, I moved in with my dad in high school, and he wanted my room spotless all the time.
Right.
And I remember he went in there and found a bag of Doritos underneath, like stuffed under my bed. And he
Yep.
was like, "What the hell is this, Harley?"
Well, and that's the thing is, like, I've actually gone on the news and talked about this whole
Mhm.
thing with, like, 2 moms and been like,
Yeah.
I think it was Today in Nashville show, whatever, and, like, about how that is so prevalent. They're like, "Yeah, I don't understand why the kids are hiding their candy and stuff," and I'm like,
Mhm.
well, honestly, it's probably coming from you, from something that you're saying that is, like, triggering them to hide it.
Yeah.
Like, you're either not allowing enough food at lunch or you're
Yeah.
not like and again, it's hard to navigate because especially when kids go off to school, like, you don't know what you're eating. Like, I used to eat those, I don't know if y'all had this, but, like, those Otis cookies. So it's like 2
Yeah.
for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, of course, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have any money, but I was like, I would find $1 to
Oh,
get some
yeah.
cookies after lunch. So again, they may be like, "Oh, well, here's your sweet treat at the end of the day." And I'm like, "Ha, like, you don't even know
"Nah,
that I'm
you
having
don't know what
ice
I got
cream
today."
and I'm having cookies and somebody shared their snack with me." Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, but keep going.
Somebody shared their snack with me. I had some really good friends today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I mean, sometimes, like, yeah.
But whenever, like, that generation, that's
Mhm.
what it was very I feel like it was a very restrictive,
Yeah.
like, low
Well,
calorie.
that's what they were told in
Yes.
marketing. Like, everything
Yes.
came to them, and they were the first generation to see that of low calorie, fat free, sugar free, whatever.
Yeah.
That they didn't know. So
Yeah.
that I mean, I never I mean, I don't know how your relationship is with your mom now, but, like, for with mine, we had a similar thing go
Mhm.
down, and, I'm bringing Slim Fast to high school, in middle school,
Yeah.
whatever, and it's just I feel, like I can't eat, and every time I do, it's a judgment, it's a
Yeah.
whatever, and so but, like, we have definitely come to that understanding of that, like, she had to grow in her mindset, like, and I had to grow with, like,
Yes.
mine as well, but of, like, what I actually needed, and, like, and again, because there were times where it's like, "Oh, yeah, I really don't need a whole pack of Oreos at midnight. I'm just staying up late
Yeah.
and wanting" you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
watching TV and whatever, right? So it is
It
a
just
hard
happens.
Yeah,
You look down
exactly.
and it's gone.
Yeah,
Literally.
100%, and so it's a hard like, it is a hard line, and I definitely understand that. So, from there, I mean, with you and your mom, like, did you find, like, when did you find kind of health, and did you find it for yourself, or was it from other people still telling you to get healthy?
So I remember, like, I never really remember stepping on the scale or anything, but I
Mhm.
do remember, like, events in my childhood to where I had that feeling where, like, I just wanna lose weight.
Yeah.
Like, whenever I was in 5th grade, I had my appendix ruptured, and
Mm.
yeah, it was bad, but I was 150 pounds, and I remember going to school the next day and people noticing that I had lost weight just because I hadn't been eating or anything, I'd been throwing up everything I was
Right.
eating. And I remember in that instance, like, I was like, "Oh, yes, like, I have lost weight. You notice?
That,
Like,
like,
I wanna keep
validation.
going."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I remember going home and telling my mom and so excited, and, like, she was very, very encouraging the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
I remember another time I asked her, "How much weight do you think I would have to lose to fit my sister's clothes?" And it was like a medium
Mm.
shirt, and she told me 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So she was always like I did Weight Watchers and we would
Mhm.
do low
Yep.
carb, and she was always giving me the ideas and helping me, and
Okay. Yeah.
like she was trying
Yeah,
with the best
support.
yeah, she with what she knew.
Yes.
So I think it just from middle school or elementary school into middle school, it was more of
Mhm.
the eating and stuff. And
Yeah.
I remember in high school, like I moved in with my dad in high school,
Yeah.
and he had an elliptical, and I would do like 10 minutes in the morning before school.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah. Like I just did 10 minutes, a whole
Yeah.
mile on the elliptical. And that was like it was
It
a
helped you
rush.
be successful
Yeah.
for the whole day.
It was
Yeah.
a rush, but yeah, it did. But I would always start these things and not
Okay, weren't
no,
consistent.
no, not at
Yeah.
all. And I would do the low carb. I was even on phentermine for a little bit, like in
Mm.
high school. And if you don't know what phentermine is,
Mhm.
it's kinda like Adderall or Vyvanse or like legal
Yeah.
crack,
Yeah.
you know? Like it gives you that go, you don't have an appetite.
Right.
And I remember not even like taking that.
Yeah.
Like whenever I was like, "No, I don't have an appetite. I wanna eat."
Yeah. Like, you knew something was off,
Yeah,
like, you needed that.
yeah.
That's wild. I hate that. I remember being on a program that was like, where you get, like, a shot and it, like, tricks your body so that your body thinks that you're, like, going through, like, pregnancy kinda thing, like, the hormones are all crazy. Like, it was a
Yeah.
whole thing, and, like, it was so bad. Hated that. But I definitely can empathize in that regard. So, for me, like, what I had to do was, like, when I got out of college, because where'd you go to college?
I went to Motlow for like a year.
Okay, cool. So went to Siegel and then went to Motlow. So when you like, so like when I finished Blackman, I went to UT Knoxville, and then I got an internship at an all women's healthy living resort in Vermont. And when I was up
Oh,
there,
that's interesting. That's cool.
yeah, it was pretty awesome. I loved it, but it was very isolating. You know, you're up there alone, so I had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to run, a lot of time to work out, whatever. And saw people from all different walks of life, but like they were talking about body positivity up there. And
Okay.
so that is when I came
And what
back
was
down
this
here.
like
Like a resort, like a retreat.
Okay,
So women, like,
yeah.
so it's kind of like what I went to a couple weeks ago, but it's like down the road,
Uh-huh.
at Castellan Springs. So there's very select few in the
Yeah, and
US.
do you go do like classes and stuff the whole weekend that you're there?
Yeah, so I was there for like 9 months, and I was
Oh, wow,
like a
okay.
fitness intern, and so I learned everything, and like took the women through their daily tasks and all the things. A 2 mile walk every
Oh,
morning,
that's
breakfast. Yeah, yeah.
fun.
So
Yeah.
that's cool, and there's spots like that in Arizona, down here in
Yeah.
Castellan Springs,
I've actually been
and
wanting to do one of those. Like
yeah,
I've looked them up
hmm
online to go out of the country
yep.
to do one because I think that would be so fun.
Yeah, so I went and learned a lot, met a lot of great people, but that's where they were talking about body positivity. So like where did you kind of like, cause then I kind of felt like I brought that back down here in
Mhm.
terms of when I started with my business and whatever, because in Franklin, no one was talking about that.
Yeah.
It was all about how you looked, it was all about your weight loss, whatever. And I was kind of like, whoa, I just came from this like awesome resort where like
It wasn't like
we
that.
weren't talking about that. Like we weren't using like FAT, SKI, like we weren't doing that. We were talking like loving yourself,
Yeah.
even in New York, they were having events like that to love yourself, like in the
Mhm.
Middle Union Square, wearing a sports bra, leggings, like, and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was like, whoa,
A whole new
nobody,
world.
yeah. And I was like, finally, like it made sense, right?
Yeah.
So when, I guess, kind of in your mind, like when did you start trying to put that out there for everyone? Like when did you see that you needed to say like, hey, I love myself and like I want others to love themselves too?
Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
probably about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Probably about a
Okay.
year ago. And I started coaching in 2017.
Okay.
It's not that I didn't ever want my clients to love themselves, but the way that I saw myself
Yeah,
reflected on how I was coaching,
for sure.
if that makes
Oh,
sense.
100%.
So, like, everything it was all about weight loss to me when I first
Yeah.
started. Like, I didn't love my body,
Mhm.
like, the whole journey.
Yeah.
And, on Instagram, I would post like I did. I
Yeah.
would post these long captions, and I'd be like, "Be positive," but I
Yeah.
feel like it was one of those things where I was faking it until I made it. Like,
Mhm.
I wanted so badly to feel this confidence and feel this love within myself
Yes.
that I would literally, like I would read other people's posts, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I wanna feel like that, so I'm gonna kinda put that out there on my
Yeah.
Instagram."
100%.
So, as I was writing these captions and stuff, yeah, I wanted to put that kinda message out there,
Yeah.
but, like, I was doing it to try to persuade myself that that's how I really felt about
Right.
myself.
Yeah.
And in reality, I did not.
I gotcha. So then with being about like a year ago, and so you've had about a year to kind of like do
Yeah.
that, and you're doing your confident challenge right
Mhm.
now,
Yeah,
or it
yeah.
starts soon. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is awesome. So do you feel like this will be a whole nother, like a whole new like realm for you? Like you're like, wow, I'm really going in this like wide open, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
versus like kind of in the shades. Like,
Yes.
okay.
Oh my gosh, my energy is like
Totally different.
yes,
Yeah, and I
like
can tell that even just how your demeanor and, like, you look so strong, you look
thank
so, like,
you.
just, like,
Yeah,
good, so that's
thank you.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Like,
of
a
course.
year ago, I was just like honestly, I
Mhm,
didn't have the mental capacity to even, like I was living with my mom,
mhm.
and I had actually told my clients, like, I tried so hard to keep coaching. Like, I was like, "I do
Yeah,
not wanna come off as a failure. I don't wanna post on Instagram and be like, 'Oh, I can't coach anymore.' Like, people are
right.
gonna be like, 'Oh, like, she's quitting. She's not.'"
Mhm.
And I was so scared. I remember going to my mom and crying. Like, I was like,
Oh,
"Mom, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know if I wanna."
yeah.
Guys, gonna make me cry right now.
Oh, you're
I
good.
don't know if I wanna keep
It's a safe
coaching. I
space.
don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're good.
Um, so I made the decision to stop coaching for a little bit,
Yeah.
and
But, I think that that's a really strong thing that you did, Harley, because, you know I don't know how much you know about my story and everything, but from, after getting injured and after Wes passing away, who was my late boyfriend, it's one of those things where like there's so much trauma, there's so much stuff. And we like, like literally, I think it was like a month after we started the podcast,
Mhm.
I put up my video and it went, or a few months after my video went viral, like all these things like started happening, which was
Yeah.
great. And so it made it all so chaotic, but distracting as well to help
Mhm.
me to kind of be able to like keep going. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But there was that time where like nothing was happening and it was just negativity. It was just sadness and whatever. And it is that feeling of like, man, maybe I should step back. Right.
Yeah.
I am just very, in my world, I have always been the person who will not necessarily take care of everyone else, but feel the need to like set the example for everyone else. You know what
Yes.
I mean? And so that was where it was like, I'm doing this, I'm staying in this for my people. And and so I had to have that moment where it was like, but mentally, like, would it have been
Yeah.
amazing and probably the best thing for me? Yes. So when I heard that you said that, or when you say that, it's like that takes a lot of strength. So I never want you to like reflect back on that, if even no matter what anyone says, and who cares what they say anyway, but reflect back on that of like, oh, maybe I could have gotten so much further, or like this could have happened. I could have been here, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like that, I mean, is awesome to me.
Well, and I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I have come to realize that because the fact that I took a step back and mentally kind of
Yeah.
gathered myself together, I started going to therapy.
Love that.
The 4 things that changed for me was probably therapy, yoga, reading, and listening to more podcasts.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And just taking more time for myself.
Yeah, and it goes into that whole self-care, that and just that when you are trying to be a female entrepreneur, when you are younger, when you are battling with your own weight loss, your own, everything, it's it is hard to be like, "Oh, okay, let me take time to journal." Like,
Yeah.
let me go read. Like,
Yeah.
let me, like, do some yoga. Like, so I totally get that. And as I'm preparing for the bodybuilding show, it's a Nashville Fit show. So I
Mhm.
told Tyler and them,
Yeah.
so if you wanna come and everything, I'm really excited about it.
That
But
is exciting.
yeah, I think it'll be good. I mean, like, it's just, for me, it's a celebration because of like kind of regaining function back in my leg,
Yeah.
because it's only partially numb now. So that's better than what it was. I don't have back pain anymore. Like, so it's
Good.
just, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a, let's like do this,
Yeah.
because for so long I couldn't, and was told not to move, which was really hard for me mentally and stuff. But it did allow me to like, again, that kind of step back to like sit with myself,
Mhm.
and I think that this unrealistic expectation that people have of, even social media, or like how you're supposed to feel or how you're supposed to look or what you're supposed to do or whatever, I find that, and what I've seen from your posts here recently and stuff, it's like that none of that matters.
No.
And, again, I want more people and I want more listeners and I want more, even men, women, like no matter what it is, to not let your decisions be based off of what you think other people think that should be of you. Or
Yes.
no matter if they're your parents, your partners, your mentors, your whoever, it doesn't matter. It has
Mhm.
to be like what you genuinely want to do. And then if that's not what you want to do, then like get out of it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more that frustrating to me. And I don't know how you feel about that here in the borough, but like seeing trainers and seeing coaches like that are just in it because they look the part,
Yeah.
or because like someone told them they should be a trainer.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is very upsetting because it's like, man, like if this isn't even for like you're like your life, like this is my life.
Yeah.
And this is like what I feel like I'm destined to do. It's like, and so it's just one of those things where it's like, I wish that more people knew themselves better
Yep.
so that they could go find and follow their dream versus what everyone's telling them they should do.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
it's life-changing once you that's another thing that big thing that changed was I was willing to be honest and open with myself.
Yes.
Like, I've always struggled, in relationships, romantic relationships
Same.
especially.
Yep.
So, and that was one thing I was in, like, a it was a situationship, we'll call it that,
Yeah.
and it opened my eyes to a lot that, maybe, like, the common denominator in
Mm.
all of these relationships is
Yeah.
me, it's
Yeah.
not the other person.
I get
So,
that.
it's not necessarily that I was, like, had crappy dudes, I did, but
Yeah.
crappy people, but
They didn't help the situation.
yeah,
Yeah,
but it was
exactly.
really me, like, it was me, and even it goes as far as romantic relationships, the way I feel about myself, the way I was coaching my clients, like,
Yeah.
I knew I loved, like, love coaching and what I wanted to put out there, like, I wanted women to feel confident,
Yes.
but I was one of those coaches, one that didn't know how to,
Mhm.
and then I didn't look the part either.
Mhm.
So it was kinda like I was just trying so hard to do what I wanted to do for women,
Yeah.
but I didn't know how.
Yeah.
Like, I literally didn't know how. Like, all I knew was go to the gym and eat this. Like, I remember when I first started coaching, I told people, I was like, "Don't eat fats and carbs together. It's
Right.
2 energy sources. Your
Yeah.
body can't
Yeah.
digest it. Don't do it."
Yeah.
And it was all these restrictions, but on healthy food,
Yeah.
and it was like, I look back and I'm like, "Oh, my poor
Yeah,
clients."
but that's
Like,
the
what?
thing is, like, they probably, and I don't know the clients, but they probably had no guidance at all, and
Yeah,
we're just happy to have some guidance and have that accountability partner and that person there,
that is true, yeah.
and so, again, we all make mistakes and not even mistakes, but we all have to learn through our journey, and it is through trial and error, and the way you feel right now at 28, and how I felt at 28 is probably not how I'm gonna feel at 30 and not how
Yeah,
I feel 35, and, like, and it's a continual, like, evolution, and that's how I look at, life in general, but especially with business, and there really is no right or wrong. Like, you gotta
no,
find your niche, you gotta find your deal, and with loving yourself and, like, what that looks like, to you, and as long as it's, like, you can own it, because like, that's how I always talk to people, like, if anybody comes to me, like, I remember one time someone was like, "Oh, so, like, what is a body positive fitness trainer?" Whatever, and I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, well, actually,
Let me tell you.
like, yeah, I, like, laid it out for them, and I was just like, what's up? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
because again, like, if you can defend it till the end, then, like, that's it.
yeah.
Like, so that's where I kinda look at and then,
Well,
like
and if you really believe it.
yeah,
Like, if you
exactly.
believe it and you're passionate about it,
Yeah.
oh, it's a whole different, like, feeling from what I was feeling a year ago
Yep.
to now, because now my vision is so much more clear to what
Yes.
I want
Yeah.
for my
100%.
for the people that I'm coaching, and it's not anything to do with how you like. That's why
Yeah.
I love your body positivity
Thanks,
movement,
girl.
because it's like love your body
Mhm.
inside and out.
Yeah.
Like, love who you are
Right.
wholeheartedly, no
Yeah.
matter what you look like, because I don't care how skinny you are. I don't
Yeah.
care how, how much lip injections you have, how long your eyelashes
Yeah.
are. You're not going to be confident in yourself
Right.
from physical looks.
100%. And also we always say, like, love, on here we say, like, love your body throughout. And
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing is because
I
again,
like that.
it's not like because everyone always reflects back to childhood because the people who had great childhoods with their bodies,
Mhm.
they're like, I wish I was back when I was like 16 and how I looked there and
Yeah,
whatever. And like I never appreciated it, I never understood it, whatever. I'm like, yeah, well, right now you're 35 and you're still not appreciating it
yeah,
and you don't know what's gonna happen. You could get pregnant, you could be, things could
yeah,
complicate, like,
exactly.
so
That's
why
such
don't
a
we
good point.
but you see what I mean? Like, it's like,
Yeah,
so that's why I try to, like, put it on that level for them
I like that.
that, like, let's continue to love yourself no matter where you're at, and again, it is challenging to look at yourself in the mirror, and it is challenging to be like, if you don't love anything about yourself. So
Yeah.
that's why I try to say, again, that you're using the physical things that you're doing, like the
Mhm.
push-ups you just did, the roll-ups, the whatever, the squats, the lunges, like all that, like you were so capable. That is loving your body too, because it
Yes.
just did that for you. It's
Yeah.
not about, oh, well, now my arms look sculpted, so I love them.
Yeah.
And so that I think is a misconception a lot of
I like that
times with
too.
like
It's what you're
thanks.
capable of. It's not because 'cause you're strong. It's like,
Yeah.
I was capable of doing that.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why, like, I have always kind of like with my clients, especially, just told them, like, y'all know, like, y'all are very strong, right? Like, and they're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, no, like, I don't have weak clients, like mental or physical. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like they are strong, and again, and they may not be strong like on their, like, everyday life or whatever yet,
Yeah.
but they are strong in that moment, and
Yeah.
they are fighting for what they want, and what they want is to love themselves, and so that's where, like, I appreciate people like you who are also trying to spread that same message, and they're trying to not even trying, but doing it, but, like, and getting it out there because people think that it's so like, people who've never had to deal with weight or deal with stuff or whatever, they, or health complications, like, they look at it as if, like, well, obviously I love myself. It's like, no,
Yeah.
that's like someone that's a CEO being like, "Oh, well, like, obviously, like, I make a lot of money." It's like,
Yeah.
"Well, like, don't you make a lot of money?" And you're like, "Bruh."
But then
Like
also people put on a really good facade.
That's true.
Like, people like, because
Yes,
I
men
used to say
do.
all the
Men
time,
really do.
I'm confident, I love myself." The biggest thing I used to say, "I don't care what people think." I remember I said that to a friend.
Yeah.
It was like it was probably about a year ago,
Yep.
and he said, "Do you really?" And when he said that to me, I was
You had
like,
to think about it.
"Do I really?"
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Yes, I do care about what people think," because before I would post anything, what would go through my head was, "What are people gonna think about this? What
Right.
are people gonna say about
Yeah.
this?"
And
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 now
I
I'm
I
like,
think
"Fuck
that's
it."
but that's yeah, exactly, and you should
Like,
be because everyone is like that. Like, and
yeah.
that's why, when you're trying to navigate life and you're trying to figure out what you want to do, well, whatever, the easiest thing that you can control is how you see yourself and how
Yes.
you love yourself. And it is so funny. Me and Tyler Gentry talk about this all the time, but because for me, it's like people don't understand. You go back far enough and you still see me taking selfies in the mirror. Like that has not changed. Like that's been a whole process for 10
Yeah.
years. You go back and look at it and it's like, I don't think I said fight for what you want, but I'm like, you'll get your movement. I was always, I mean, from the point where only my best friend would comment and that was the only person that liked the
Yeah.
post and whatever, but I did it every day because again, it was accountability to myself.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell people that like, if you want to post on Instagram and tag me, like for some of my clients, they feel
Mhm.
comfortable doing that. That's awesome. That helps me see you're getting your movement in. But like, do it for you.
Yeah.
Don't do it to let your neighbors know. Don't let it to do it to your husband to know. Like like all that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like you do this for you, and if that's how you stay accountable, awesome. Other people they don't feel comfortable doing that. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's just what worked for me. It was the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Instagram was new for me, so I was like, let's go. Whatever.
Hey,
And
it paid off. It's
yeah,
building
and
up.
yeah, and so it's just like that's where for me, it's like I reflect back on those things. So when I'm on the Stairmaster, I look back, 20 weeks ago when I was still prepping for this show,
Mhm.
and I see like, how I was and I remember how I felt
Yeah.
exactly. And it helps bring me back to a memory and where I'm like, okay, that shit was hard. This is nothing. You
Yeah.
see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or like when I'm pulling a truck or when I was doing something, whatever. And I'm like, man, I remember how I felt in that moment. Do your 300 floors on the stairs.
Yeah.
You're fine. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It kind of like
Yep.
puts in perspective.
You've already seen what your
And
body can do.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
And
you're
again,
giving yourself
and
trust.
it's not even comparing looking at it wise. Like that's like
Mhm.
fun to look back and be like, oh, like wow. But it's more of a realization to keep me going
Yeah.
versus like oh, I feel so bad for like how I looked at that time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people want to hear. Or like a lot of times they want people to be like, oh, like I transformed and like now I'm happy and now I'm whatever. But that's the thing,
No.
guys, is that your journey, like I know people who've lost a ton of weight that still are not happy or still have a very negative mindset, whatever. That's why people like Harley and me are trying to not only help you with your mindset, or with your physical, but help with that mindset so
Yes.
that it's creating better people. So when people say like to me, they'll be like, oh, like you're like just a personal trainer. It's like, I don't look at it like that. Like
Mm-mm.
I look at it like truly, I want to create better women. I want to create better, men. I want to create like better people in general so that when they walk out in life, they are not walked all over. They feel like they can speak up. They are
Yeah.
not this whatever society told them, well, you look like this and then we look like that and whatever. And so that way it's not like a frustrating thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so I don't know. So for me, I just feel like it's such an epic journey and it's so cool to be in this space. And so I'm glad that you are also in the space. What is something in the borough that I mean, do you see because I come back here pretty often, whatever,
Mhm.
but like do you see a ton of negativity? Do you see in terms of like body image? Do you see a lot of insecurity? Like what kind of do you see? Because in Nashville, insecurity is like on high.
Yeah, I feel like it's on high for the
Mm.
whole world, to be honest.
Mhm.
Like, honestly, I feel like a lot of people are so insecure with themselves, and it really, like, even when people are like very so I used to be a very combative,
Mhm.
defensive person.
Yeah.
Like, I like take everything personal, everything was to me. You could say, like, "I don't like that color,"
Mhm.
and I would like my
Yeah.
shirt, I would take it as, "Oh, you don't like me."
Right.
I'm like, You don't like the color of my shirt? You don't like me?"
Yep.
So and I would be very combative.
Mhm.
And I think that, like, when those kind of traits and patterns are in someone's life,
Yeah.
they have some type of insecurity within themselves. So I
Right.
feel like you're going to struggle with insecurity until you can't think yourself into being confident.
Right.
You can't persuade yourself into being confident. You have to do the work.
Right. And
And sorry, go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. You're
I
fine.
was
You're
gonna say
good.
the body, the like weight loss and the
Mhm.
physical appearance is all a byproduct of the work that you do.
100%. And you guys, I mean, the thing too is that like obviously, if you are like a larger body or you're a smaller body wanting to like put on muscle or you're wanting to lose weight or whatever, that's totally fine if that's your main goal.
Yeah.
All that we're saying is that the idea behind it is that you enjoy the process throughout it,
Yes.
because once you get to that, like once you're sitting there and you're like, man, I'm wearing that dress, I'm wearing that outfit that
Mhm.
finally you never would have thought I'd be in,
Yeah.
like this, whatever. It's like, when you look back at it, you're like, I want you to understand that, like, man, I fought for that. I worked for that. This is something special that sets me aside,
Yeah.
and it has made me a better person overall versus now I'm down X amount of weight and my life is great.
Yeah.
I
I
just
always tell my
that's it.
clients, acknowledge the places and
Mhm,
the areas in your life that you're struggling and that you're still having a hard time with.
mhm.
Like if you're having a hard time getting to the gym
Yeah,
or you're making up excuses to not go to the gym,
right.
acknowledge those things,
Yeah,
but don't shame yourself and don't
yeah,
guilt yourself for them. And be sure to acknowledge the good things that you have done.
yeah,
Because if you're constantly like, "Oh, I didn't make it to the gym today. I didn't eat this meal today." If you're constantly
right.
down on yourself, like one comment after another, why would you wanna keep going?
Yeah, no,
Why
100%.
would you want
It
to even, like,
Yep.
continue because
It
you're
has to be that balance,
yeah,
and I think that so many women, like, they and men too, but they know what they wanna work on, like, they know that, like, "Oh, I
yeah,
need to lose this, or I need to do that, or I need to get stronger, or the doctor said this," whatever, but it's just that, like, that showing up for themselves,
mhm,
and that's what I always tell when people text me, like, "Girl," like, they're like, "I am not getting to the gym, I'm not doing whatever." I'm like, "Bruh, just get in the car and, like, get there.
yeah.
I don't care what you do, but it's a
Do 10 minutes
routine."
on the treadmill.
Yeah, like, it's a routine that you're
Yes.
creating, and it's
Mhm.
habits. So it's
Yes.
not about that, "Oh, you crushed and you did all this stuff and all this work and whatever every day at the gym," whatever. It's like, again, how is this gonna be a realistic, healthy lifestyle
Yeah.
for you?
I like that.
Yeah, so
Like, it doesn't matter whether you go and do an hour crushed workout. If you
mm-mm.
do 10 minutes, it's the habit that you're building by
Yep.
getting there, doing it for 10 minutes, and leaving, and then the next
And
time, it's 20
And
minutes.
also the feeling. So, like,
Yes.
so more so instead of chasing after the weight or whatever, like, chasing after the feeling. Like, I
Mhm.
love that, like, my body's shaping now. Like, I'm not gonna, whatever. Like, that is something
Yeah.
super cool, and I'm excited, and, people be like, "Oh, look, your shoulders are popping," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, stuff that no
Thanks.
one's ever said to me before." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, "Okay, that's really cool." And so it's just like, it's cool to hear all that, whatever, but, like, I'm not chasing the weight loss, like the number. I'm
Yeah.
chasing that feeling. And I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
can I healthily keep on with a great mindset and like be this example and like set that like and truly do that? Cause
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I can, but again, like, but with sponsoring the show and stuff, there are competitors looking up to me. There are
Yeah.
competitors that are like, hey, like, they're seeing me keep going. So they're like, dang, I gotta keep going. I gotta
Yeah.
keep doing whatever. So it's one of those things where it's like, man, I just truly wanna know for myself, because when I used to do stuff like this, like fasted cardio and a
Mhm.
lot of HIIT type of workouts, whenever back in the day,
Mm.
and sprints and all that, like, and I was put on a very low calorie regimen, like, it was very unhealthy. Like, I didn't, it was to prove someone wrong, and
Mhm.
so then I got to a very low weight, but, like, I didn't look the way I wanted to look.
Yeah.
Like, I looked small, and I said, and to myself, literally, I was my smallest weight ever, and I sat there, and I was at Bonnaroo,
Uh-huh.
and I was doing MoveFit, and so I worked 4 years doing, like, kinda like
Yeah.
you did the other day with, like, working a booth and stuff,
Mhm.
working the VIP section, like, doing all that, whatever, and literally, finally, they let me have a Bonnaroo or have a slot at Bonnaroo to do MoveFit. So I
That's
do so
awesome.
I
I bet that was so much fun.
it was so much fun, but when I was standing there, my graphic designer's there with me, whatever, and, like, and I was telling him, I was like, "Dude, like, if somebody, like, came at us right now," which I'm not saying Bonner is violent, it never ever happened, but it was just one of those moments I was like, "If somebody tried to, like, take my wallet or something like that, like, I don't look capable. I look like everyone else
Yeah.
here." And that right there was the moment where I was like, "Ugh," like, cause I had worked so hard
Mhm.
and been
And then it
so
set
restrictive
in.
and all that, and then I was like, "Man," and, like, yeah, I wore some cute outfits, but I was like, that's not happiness to
Yeah.
me, and that's not what I envisioned I looked like, and that's not what I told my coach I wanted to look like, none of
Yeah.
that, and so anyway, so I think that for everyone listening, like, it is, again, if you're a female or even a male that is wanting to, work with in the Murfreesboro area with
Mhm.
Harley, with the Nashville area with me, whatever, but that is wanting to, like have that understanding of like what you want and like, and even we can help you find out that,
Yeah.
but like if you know that you want that, like say that and
Mhm.
like let's fight for it. Like
Yeah.
let's go after that
Yep.
versus us tell, you know what I mean? Like how I feel like a lot of people just like don't listen, or they're like, oh yeah, well, I think because you look this way, you need to look this way.
Mhm.
And then it's like people get defeated because they're working with a coach or trainer that's like not listening to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I have a similar story to that, like,
Mhm.
where you thought you would look some type of way.
Yeah.
I actually, like, after my weight loss, I had, a tummy tuck, and I
Mm.
had scheduled the tummy tuck, and the closer the time came to it, like, I was like, I can do more by myself. I
Mhm.
can lose more fat by myself. I'm gonna postpone it. I postponed it for another 3 months,
Okay.
and then I, actually still thought, this is taking the easy way out. I feel like
Mm.
I can still lose more fat, but I went ahead and did it because I thought it would make me feel so much more confident. I'm not gonna have the fupa. I'm gonna be able
And
to wear
and at this
dresses.
point, were you were working out, or
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
And
So I had
and
already built all the habits and
okay,
everything.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did that, and that's when that kind of set in with me,
Yeah.
like, no, like, I got all this, I paid all this money, I did all this, and I don't take it back. I would
Mhm.
have eventually got it
Yeah.
regardless of where I was at, but at the time that I did get it, the intentions were wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I
if the
see.
intentions were wrong,
Right.
then after I got it done, I still was n like, I was, like, still not happy, and it
Yeah.
didn't really set into me until, like, a year after I had my surgery, like,
Mhm.
you're not gonna build, happiness within yourself
Yeah.
with just a look,
Right.
and I don't know,
With
it's
with the
wild.
with the tummy tuck, everything's been okay. Like
Mhm, yeah.
everything moving forward.
Yeah, my
Okay.
surgeon was amazing, I got
Awesome.
amazing results, like,
Where
I'm
did you
happy
go?
with everything. Doctor Shane Webb, he's
Okay.
actually here in Murfreesboro,
Okay.
aesthetics, Web at Aesthetics.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Just for anybody listening, if that's part of your journey and something you've been thinking about. But I do want to note that Harley said that, she went to, this whole idea of like getting her regimen set up. She was working out, like she was doing all these things that were very positive for herself.
Mhm.
So again, even though you say you weren't in the right mental state with that, you still were doing the right habits
Yeah.
that like, so that I think a lot of people, the bad stereotype with, tummy tuck or
Mhm.
surgeries or whatever, is that people are like, wow, you took the easy way out. Well, it's
And
like,
that's what I
no,
felt
like you
like.
were working
Yeah.
for, like,
Now I see that.
mhm,
Now I do see that, like, I did work for what I had, and I just always downplay myself,
yeah,
like, it was never that good enough feeling, like,
right.
anything I ever did was never good enough. I never felt good enough for my clients,
Yeah.
like, and I think that was more on my, like, codependency
Yeah. I
pattern
get
I
that.
have, like, if I didn't text my clients every single day,
Yeah.
I would feel like a shitty coach. I would literally I would literally be like, "I didn't text them today. I'm a
Yeah.
shit coach, like, I'm not doing good enough for them."
Right.
And it's like, or if they would wanna go work out
Mhm.
at 4:30 in the morning. I
Yeah.
love working out with my clients, but when you're going out of your way, and, like, when I didn't get home until 12 o'clock
Yeah.
from
Like,
work,
mm-mm.
and I'm like, that's the stuff that I would do that was, like, emptying my cup as a
Yes.
coach, like, trying to be there for so many people without being there for
Yeah.
myself. And it's
And you
setting boundaries.
yes, is exactly setting boundaries so that, like I have said to them before, right now with this prep, like, I am going to bed no later than 10.
Yeah.
So if you text me at 10:01, I'm probably literally asleep. The phone is off the thing. I'm not gonna answer,
Yep.
whatever. And but this is my back. This is my pettiness is that like if you text me at 11 o'clock, I'm gonna text you at 4:45 in the morning when I get up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like so it is what it is. But like
Yeah.
if again, so because and again, it happens. I know you
That
get
is
and
funny.
again, like if they're positive, like man, I went to a late workout because I have people who have
Yeah.
night shift or whatever, and they work out weird times. So I get it,
Yeah.
and like people with different states and stuff. So I understand it. But I'm just like, for me, I'm so OCD about that. I used to be like that, kind of a perfectionist where I would look at my phone all the time, be like,
Oh,
okay, I
I
hope
would
they're doing
text,
whatever.
yeah,
And
I would
like,
text back at any time, no matter what I was
yes,
doing. I was be with my family,
yes.
be on my
And
phone,
and I
and
am really trying to make that intentional to not do
yeah.
that.
And
So
I would do that with social media too. It's
yep.
not just coaching.
No, it's the same.
So
Yeah.
it's social media too. I would be on social media with my
Like
family. It's just getting off my
like
phone,
that
and
would kill me. Like,
yeah.
like my phone being blown up or whatever. It's like, okay, I need to answer back. But again, it's like this is my time. I love doing the podcast. It's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I do want to say like thank you so much for coming on today. I think
Yeah.
you're doing an amazing job. Your representing for strong women out there and being vulnerable in the sense to let them know that you do not have to be perfect and you're never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And that's
Never.
what's so beautiful about it. And like I said before, I said this earlier on the podcast, but like to me, because I saw you the other night and stuff, like at Olympus,
Mhm.
whatever, like you look like you're so much happier. And
Thank
so,
you.
and I genuinely feel like people's energy and stuff. So like, I want
Yeah.
you to know, like, that's like a, not just like, oh, like you look happy. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
and so that's really, it's inspiring for me to see.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me on. I love the
Yeah.
whole movement that you have going on.
Thanks,
We
girl.
definitely need to collaborate or something.
Yeah,
Do
I
a
would
work.
love
I'm
that.
gonna come to a Move Fit.
Oh my gosh, we got it next week. So I don't know where you at. What
Is
you
it
doing?
Saturday?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Send me
so
the time. Send me the
okay.
details.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Awesome. All
And
right.
I just want to say that I love that about you,
Yeah.
that the dancing, I've always wanted to be a dancer. Like
Oh yeah.
whenever in high school we'd go out to clubs, I'd be so like, I want to dance, but I'm not going to dance. I'm not going until I got blacked out. And then it was like,
yeah, and then you're like dropping it low and yeah. Oh my gosh.
I probably ended up on some stories that I needed to
Yeah.
not be on, but yeah.
But-
So I just like love that the whole Move Fit
Yeah.
thing that you have going on. I love it.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
I'm very excited for it. And yeah, we'll be doing it at the expo and it's gonna be good and it will be a lot of fun. And it's something for me, for those who don't know, Move Fit is a strong, sexy athletic dance format. We do it all over, Nashville, Murfreesboro, Brentwood, wherever, just as my outreach to help people to be able to love themselves throughout and kind of be in that safe zone of not feeling like they have to like go get a boot camp workout done or whatever, but they could just move, have fun. It's a party. So can't wait to see you there. And until next time, guys.